Well, good evening, folks. It's Richard the Fishing Machine here. Beautiful evening here on the Tennessee River, as always. Today, we're going to be doing something that I love to do. And I'm surprised I don't do more of it. Today, we're going to be doing some gar fishing. Now, the surface temperature is at 81.5 on top. This evening. The water is cooling down. We're getting some cool nights, although it's going to take a while for this water to really cool down. But as the water is cooling down, gar will do just exactly what they're doing right now. They will group up into big, thick schools, and for the most part, they're easy to catch. Now, as far as equipment, I'm going to be doing something that I do a lot, and I'm going to be fishing too light. Okay, this is a light action rod right here. It's a Duck It Crappie Slayer. It's one of those rods that I just enjoy fishing with. I have two of them, and I do all kinds of different fishing with them. Shellcracker, bluegill, sauger, bass, you name it. Oh, I do it with it. And the reason is because I love to be undergunned. And I'm certainly undergunned right now. I've been watching some big ones come up to the surface. What they're doing is they're gulping air and then going back down. And now what we're going to do to catch them is this. And this is the way I fish for long-nose gar. And now we're talking about specifically long-nose gar, folks. The first thing that I do is I want to be undergunned, so I'm going to start off with, that's 8-pound test braid, a 2000 size Johnny Morris spinning reel. It's just a Daiwa reel, folks. 8-pound braid. Now I have a small split shot. I'm going to start off with it, a barrel swivel, and I've got a leader here about 16-17 inches long of red Cajun mono, 14-pound test. But the key to the way I'm going to fish today is a small hook. Not a treble hook, just a hook. It's a Gamakatsu octopus, size 4. So let's get busy and see if we can get one to bite. Now I'm seeing several. Every once in a while I'll see one come up in surface. And majority of them are back in this area right in here. And some of them look pretty good size. Well, there went a big one right there in front of us. So they're just kind of scattered out in here. And my bait, let's go over this too, is nothing more than a small gizzard shad. I'm going to go ahead and hook him up and show y'all how I hook them. I'm going to start off with this because it seems like there's some pretty good ones in here. And I'm just going to take him and nose hook him. Open his mouth and nose hook him like that. And that's the way I'm going to fish him. Now, if I miss a couple fish, what I'm going to do is split him in half. Okay. And make it a little bit smaller profile. But that right there should get them. No doubt. The small hook will get them a lot better than a bigger hook. Or even a treble hook. Alright folks, to start with, we're in 21 feet of water. There's a big one right in front of me. Let's make a cast. They're coming up and they're surfacing. I've got just a small split shot on here. And the reason is I want it to drift through them pretty quick. They're coming up, they're gulping air, and then they're going back down. And there's some big giants in here. I've seen a couple that looked like they was close to 4.5 to 5 feet long. I mean big ones, folks. There's a lot of shad out here, and that's what they're feeding on. 19 to 20 feet of water, and it's just full of big schools of shad. And that's why these fish are accumulated in this area. And all this is right here is just a inside bend of the river, of the Tennessee River. Inside bend. The reason they're in here is because of that right there. Y'all see all them shad here in 19 feet of water? Absolutely full of them. of shad, and that's what they're feeding on. They're gorging on them. So we're fishing with the right bait, no doubt. But the secret to catching these, in my opinion, it's not really a secret. But I'm going to tell you, I catch a lot more of these long-nosed gars by downsizing my hook. Oftentimes, I find that most anglers uses way too big of a hook for gar. There's one right there. Yep. First bite, folks. Alright, we're just going to let him go. He's under the boat. Let me get that trolling motor up. Now, we're going to let him run just a little bit. If these shad was just a little bit smaller, I'd go ahead and count to around 10 and set the hook, but they're just about an inch bigger than what I would really like. You don't need a big bait for long-nosed gar, not at all. But what it is, they'll grab these shad at the end of their beak, and as they're swimming, they'll work it in towards their mouth. And now this bait's small enough to where he can get it down in his actual mouth pretty quick. 15 or 20 seconds. Of course, I'm talking. I've lost count, but let's go ahead and see what we got right here. Let's just reel. That's all I do is just reel. And we got him. Or we got him so far. Golly, I can tell y'all right now, this is a good fish right here. I don't know if it's one of them biggest ones I've seen yet. This one right here has got a lot of power. He don't really know he's hooked right now. Now, long-nosed gar, like I've stated before, will jump. They'll come up there and jump and shake their head. Yeah, this is a good one right here. Yeah, I'm way undergunned, but I would rather just go ahead and wear them out as much as I can. That way they don't come in the boat green, because years ago, I'm going to tell y'all a story. Something that happened years ago, way before YouTube. See, I've done a lot of this gar fishing for fun, because they are something else, folks. They are a hard pulling fish. A lot of sport in the gar, in my opinion, but I brought a guy with me. He caught a big one, and looky there, want some bubbles coming up. And we got him in the boat. This is a big one. Look here, what a big gar right here. And he got him some air. That's a big gar. See, I'm just holding tension right here. He might decide to jump here in a second. But he's hooked just right. Anyway, we got that gar. Y'all excuse me, I'm excited. In the boat. And he started flopping. And he cut my buddy's arm bad. Really bad. And I didn't think he was going to quit bleeding at all, to be honest with y'all. It didn't want to quit bleeding, so I was fixing just to take him on the emergency room, and it did. It finally quit, but that was a deep, deep cut. If they hit you at the right angle, a long-nosed gar can hurt you, because those teeth are like needles. So they're not the type of fish to play around with too much. This fish is fighting. There he goes. He just now knows he's hooked. Knows that he's hooked, folks. Look at that. There he goes right here again. Very difficult fish to land, especially with light line. If you're working with light line, and you don't have to have a big leader for these gar, because if you give them enough time and use a small enough bait and use a small hook, they'll get that bait in their mouth, in the back of their mouth, where they want to swallow it. Okay, this is a big one. Let's put him in the... Quit. You don't do that. But the key is the small hook This is a big one. Oh! Yeah, we're going to have trouble getting him in the net, folks. Yeah. See here? He got him a gulp of air and he's gone again. I'm going to try him out one more time with the net. And if that don't do it, we'll just grab him. I'm wanting to get back out there and hook another one because there's some in there a lot bigger than this one. There we go. We got him. Golly. That was hard to do. We'll put him right here. We'll measure him, but this, there, I'm going to tell you, look how wide his back is. That's a wide, healthy looking fish right there. But there's some in there a lot bigger, folks. A lot bigger. Okay, folks, let's go ahead and measure him. Now, what I'm going to do is, you see, you got to watch him. I'm going to jam his beak up to the boat, to the side of the boat. Okay. Like that. Okay, it's up there tight. Hey, he's in a perfect position right there, and I'm going to pull right here and measure him. Okay, y'all can see that. 43 inches. 43 and a quarter, really. That's a pretty good size one. That ain't bad at all. Hey, man. Whoa. That ain't bad. Whoa! Hydrogen. It's a big problem. Alright, folks, let's get a look at him right here. There's my leather glove. What I'm going to do with this is grab him around the beak with it. They're incredibly hard to hold. But they're very powerful fish. You got to watch them. That's a big gar right there. Big gar. But I'm going to tell you, there's some out there a lot bigger. Now, I wore this one slam out, and that's what you want to do. You want them as green as possible, but before you put them in the boat, or I do. A lot less chance of getting hurt, to be honest with you. Let's let him go. Before we let him go, I want y'all to look what some dentures right there that thing's got. Man. Okay. Almost going through this leather glove. Let's let him go right here. Watch him. Like nothing even happened. They're tough fish. Very tough, durable fish. Now what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to retie me another leader on and probably use a different hook. And the reason is because that hook is probably dull, or it looked like it was. I'll just put me a new hook on and we'll get back up there. I've drifted way down. Now, there ain't no fish down here at all, but I'm going to go ahead and tie another leader on. Okay, the braid's okay, folks. This is a Palomar knot right here, and I'm just going to redo my leader real quick. Now, I'm using 14-pound test red Cajun mono right here. Let me show you. Well, the hook I'm using, Gamakatsu Octopus, size 4. But what we're going to do right here is tie the knotless knot. Anytime you have a hook that has the offset back from the shank like that, either a knotless knot like I'm fixing to tie right here, or a snail knot is appropriate. So I just run it through there about like that. And then I'm going to wrap it. Oh, you can go as many times as you want to. 7, 8 times. 10, it don't matter. And then take the tag in right here. Excuse me. Take the tag in right here and then run it through the backside. And then tighten it up. That is a strong knot right there. And then you don't have to do this, not with these gar, but you can clip it like that and leave about 1/4 of an inch. If any slipping occurs, which it shouldn't have any trouble with that. Then on this end, I'm just going to put a trilene knot, run it through there again, the same direction, go around at least 5 times. And then go back through both of the loops with your tag in like this. Wet it and then cinch it up. Which that one didn't want to cinch up real easy for some reason. Normally they do, but cinch it up. Now we can fish sloppy because it's gar. I'll just leave a long tag like that and we're ready. All we got to do is pull back up on the hole, which I'm going to have to crank the big motor. We're so far below. The wind and the current is blowing the same direction right now. So maybe this wind will settle down a little bit. Because once I get on the spot, I have to sort of hold on the spot. So we'll just, before I crank back up, I'll just go ahead and bait one up right here. Just barely, like that. That's what we're doing. Okay, let's get back up there and see what we can do. Alright folks, I've pulled above the fish, or kindly above them, where they start, right over here in this area here. So we're going to, actually what I'm going to do is drift through them. And I hope I hook one of them great old big ones, because I'm not kidding, folks. There are some big ones, real big ones. But now, you know, I was thinking on the way up here, I want to mention this. A gar, especially a long-nosed gar, the harder you fight him, the harder he'll fight you. So that's one reason why a lot of them come up and jump. Yeah, we're in them right now, so let's make a cast. Let's make a cast out there. Now I'm just using the swivel. The swivel's my weight, and it's really an oversized swivel, so it's about like a small split shot. Swivel's not necessary. I could tie a double uni knot and put a small split shot if I wanted to. But you do need, or I've found that you need a little bit of weight anyway to get it down there at least 6-8 feet deep. Because so far I've not had one take it off the surface. There's a fish on there right now. That quick. Now, my goodness, they're out here, folks. It's something else. I love it when they group up like this. This is something that I've done a lot of now. But we're going to let him run just a little bit longer. Now, he's hauling buggy with it. And I'm not going to set the hook hard. I'm just going to lean against the fish, because if you set the hook hard, he'll pop you. All right, let's try him out right now. See, that's all I'm doing. With this light line, that's all you need to do. That's a common mistake that folks will make. They'll set that hook, oh my goodness, like it's a bass or something. I'm not big on setting the hook hard anyway. That fish is way out yonder way, I'm talking about. Way out yonder way. And you don't miss many fish by using that small hook. Let me mention that too. What I'm wanting y'all to do is catch them if you decide to target these fish, because there's plenty of them. They're in about all river systems, lakes, swamps, you name it. They're there to be caught. Look here, and this fish is, I got a feeling this one's a lot bigger than the one that we just caught. So I'm going to sort of go after him just a little bit. I believe this fish, I may have to just, if he's bigger than the one that we just caught, I'm going to forget about the net. The net is not big enough anyway. Not for this size, these size of gar. He may jump, he may jump. Oh, he got him. That's just one of these big this is a big one, folks. This is what I was talking about right here. We'll measure him if we ever get him. We got to get this one very, very tired. He's getting close to the top. Looky there. Y'all see that? He gulped him some air, and that's not good. When they do that, Look here, we're on top of him now. I want y'all to look what a fish. Golly. And there he goes back down. That's what I'm talking about. My. Whoa! Folks, I don't know who's tarred or me or the fish. I'll be honest with you. He's getting tarred. I'm going to try to slip up here and grab a hold of him with this glove right here. He's big. I don't know. There he goes again. I'm going to try. I think he's got too much spunk in him. Oh, we got him another gulp of air. See what I'm talking about? When I was a kid, we'd catch finger mullet and skip them up under mangroves and catch them 20, 25 pound tarpon, which is a lot of fun. And that's what they would do, the same thing. If they ever come up and gulped them a little bit of air, it was on for a lot longer. It's hard to get a fish tired that does that. And that's really the only two that I know of that does that, is a agar and a tarpon. Now there's probably other fish, I mean, I'm sure, in the world that does that, but that makes them difficult. Right there, but this fish don't want to quit, but he's going to have to sooner or later. Alright, fish. You're going to give up or what? Let's see if we can get him right here. Get it. Hey, boom, right, a fish. What a fish. I don't know. There he goes again. I don't know. I'm just going to have to wear him completely. I've wore him down, but he's not wore down to a frazzle yet, folks. And that's what I'm going to have to do to be able to boat this fish. I'm going to try to grab a hold of this fish. He's big. This is a big one right here. Golly. We'll see about it. Oh my goodness. I can't get alongside him. If I could get alongside him and get my meat hook right here on him, on that snout, he'd be mine, folks. But that's the problem, doing that. Okay, maybe we can now. If he'll just give me a chance. This is a mean fish right here. Got him. Golly. What a fish. Woo! Just as those jet skis right there went by. My goodness. That is a big one. That may be the biggest one I've ever caught. I'm not sure. Boy. Okay, I'm going to bump it. I'm going to go along right down through here. And the fish is a little bit. Well, there it is right there. Can y'all see that? 50 inches. 50 inches. If he was straightened out, he might be a little bit more than that. 50 inches long, 4'1". That's a big gar. Let's hold him up and look at him real quick. Fish is heavy, man. Look at there, can y'all see that? That is a big gar. Look how thick he is right there. Can y'all see that? I hope he's in frame. That's a big fish. Let's let him go. Wow. Man. Fishing is no doubt a sport second to none. Yeah. Okay. Fuzzy stuff. Woolly booger, woolly booger. Woolly booger, that woolly booger. Woolly booger, woolly booger. Whoa, woolly booger. Oh, woolly booger. All right, Let's let him go. There he goes. He's up on. Let's see if we can see him on the other side. Well, I don't see him. He bolted off like a bullet. Woo! I tell you, that's going to be hard to beat right there, folks. I tell you, this right here that stinks. A gar of slime stinks. Let's get it off this glove right here if we can. I may have to use the left one if we catch another big one like that. Alright, we'll get back up there and see if we can catch one, if we can beat that. I don't really know how we're going to beat that. That was a huge gar. Heavy fish. Heavy fish. Let's catch another one. Woo! There's nothing to do. But I'm about to have an adrenaline rush that will not quit. Okay. Alright, folks, we're back up here again. I got fresh new knots, fresh bait, and everything. When I'm fishing light tackle like this, I'll no doubt redo every knot that I have, especially a fish of that size. I mean, 8-pound test is just not that heavy a line. A lot of people uses it for crappie. I mean, but if you're a light line enthusiast like myself, you become that you realize, you know, when you need to retie your knots and when you don't, when it's not necessary. But we're going to get back up in here and look for another one. Right now they're not surfacing, but the fish are still there. What I like to do is actually see them come up in porpoise, what I call porpoise. They come up there and they get them a gulp of air, then I'll throw to them. Because I know that there's at least one there. But usually there's several right there. They're kind of in big wolf packs. I seen one on the far bank. That fish was way over that way. I actually hooked that big one about right in here. Don't know why they're not surfacing, but I'm going to go ahead and make a long cast out there. Because this is where I've been seeing a lot of fish. I'm going to make sure that drag's set tight enough to get a hook into that fish, but not so tight that he'll pop me off immediately, because they will. They got a lot of power. Lots of power. A lot of times they'll hit it pretty quick. That big one, that last one I caught, hit it as it was sinking, and it might have, after the bait hit the surface, probably 4 or 5 feet deep is about where that fish hit it. He was in the upper part of the water column, but the first one that I hooked was deeper than that, was probably 8 to 10. So it, you know, we're in 20 feet of water. You could hook one from the surface all the way down to probably around the bottom. They're probably going all the way to the bottom, I imagine. Well, there he is, folks. We got one on right now. Oh, it's been a while. It's been a while. Now, there's quite a few fish still coming up, popping, but the actual feeding activity has just about stopped, and I believe it's because of this weather we have coming in. So this may be the last fish if I get a hook in him. If I get a hook in him. But yeah, he's still with us right there. He's not moving. He's working it towards his mouth right now. Like I said, they'll catch it, the tip end of their beak most of the time. And as they're swimming, or a lot of times they'll just stop and stay stationary, and they'll just do like that. And every time they open their mouth and do that, they're working that bait in towards their throat. And if you're using small bait like this, let me say this again, you'll have a better chance on catching them. Now with light line, let me stress this, the hook set's going to be, I'm just going to reel, because if I set the hook, he's really moving now. Let's just go ahead and catch him. Now if I set the hook, this fish might jump. This fish might jump. This is a pretty good fish. Golly, this is a real good fish right here, folks. But if you set the hook, what'll happen is you'll pop off on the little line. Look how those teeth. Alright, this fish is coming to me. He knows he's hooked, but not really. He knows something's wrong. It won't be long, he's going to be stripping some drag. So let me loosen off on this drag, because I know what's fixing to happen. He knows something's wrong, but he just can't quite put a fin on it. Y'all hear that? Golly. They're quick when they want to be. I've tightened the drag on him just a little bit more. And that's usually what I do. With this light line like this, I'll start off weak. And as the fight goes on, I'll just click it just a click or two and tighten that drag up gradually. That'll wear them down pretty quick as long as you use that rod to put the pressure on the fish. But there he is. It's a good one. Another good one. This right here is good practice for somebody who wants to learn how to fish with light line, or who wants to practice their skills when it comes to light line fishing. This is a great way to introduce them to it right here, because these fish are easy to catch. The river's full of them, and sometimes you can get into a big school of them like we have today that's just extra big fish. Golly. Oh me. One of the most powerful fish they are. One of them. And stubborn. Golly. I can't tell y'all how this fish right here is pulling. I can't tell y'all, can't describe how he's pulling. This one right here's got an attitude. Look at him. He don't like that hook in his jaw. I don't know how that line's around his fin somehow. I don't know. He's hooked in the mouth though. Let's see if we can get him. We might. I don't know why it's his own chickens. I was saying we might get a chance. Go ahead and end this. In this battle. Yeah, he's got that line twisted around him somehow. Hey, let me see what we can do. Golly. Oh, boy. Now, he didn't like that at all. I couldn't hold to that fish. I done my best and I got a good grip. I guess I'm going to have to tighten it up a little bit. I mean, I put a clamp on that fish and still couldn't hold him. Wow, let's try that again. Oh, that fish is mean. Yeah. Big old fish. We're going to work with him right here. Come here, buddy. Where you at for a minute? There we go. Got him. Wow, what a pretty fish. Now, I'm going to show this one to y'all because this one right here is a beautiful, beautiful specimen right here. He's not the biggest one, but he's a good one. Lord. That fish is hard to hold, but that's a big, long fish. Not the biggest one, but a beautiful fish, folks. I hope y'all can see that. Just a big old, big gar. Let's let him go. very tough. This one right here has got a heck of an attitude. He was mean. That fish right there was mean from the time that I hooked him to the time I put him in a boat till the time that I released him. That fish had an attitude, just like old Clarence. There ain't no need to put that C in there. We're too lazy here in the South. Let me repeat that. Clarence. No, that was too aggressive. Clarence. You know, kind of like Clarence. Yeah. Right. Okay. It's okay. Just do the best you can. Hey, that's all any of us can do. Well, folks, I feel like that was a blessing. I didn't fish very long, but the whole entire time that I did fish, I was hooked up to a fish and fighting a fish. And that's always a blessing. It's always a blessing. The fish actually quit biting, and I believe it's because of the system that's coming in. They just got to where they just wouldn't feed it all, and they even quit coming up. But that's fishing. But when it comes to gar fishing, the trick, in my opinion, is the small hook and light line. If you're a light line enthusiast, light tackle if you want to have fun. You don't have to do that, but the main thing is the small hook and the small bait. It's you don't miss many like that at all. Very few, if any. But I want to say God bless each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for all the great comments. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. Hey man, woo. Woo. And remember, go fishing when you can, because it's good for you.